This is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we'll be discussing the 1987 comedy, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And the reason we're reviewing this movie is because we are during Thanksgiving weekend. This is, called Black Friday, so we're doing this like a day or two late. But I decided to review about Thanksgiving weekend. And previously, I already reviewed Sensible Woman like a long time ago. So that's the only other movie that I know that takes place during Thanksgiving weekend. And of course, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles stars Steve Martin and the late great John Candy. And of course, this movie was boring. And I say, for a movie that's supposed to be a comedy, and if you don't laugh at it, laugh at what happens in this film, it's not funny. To me, it just wasn't funny. There was a lot of physical humor in the beginning of the film, but after that, it just dies a very slow-moving death throughout this film. Now, the movie is about Steve Martin, who plays an ad executive who was in New York, and his family is in Chicago, and he tries to get a flight out like 2 days before Thanksgiving. Tries to get home to his family to spend by Thanksgiving night, so he can have Thanksgiving dinner with his family. On the way there, it's like one series of circumstances after another. First, his boss is pushing his idea to us. It takes like about 2 hours to decide. And then goes looking at all these ads and stuff. And it takes like 2 hours. Nothing goes out of his mouth for like 2 hours. And decided after the weekend. So now Steve Martin's late to the airport. He gets stiffed and getting a cab. And one of the people who stiffs him out of the cab happens to be Kevin Bacon. And the other guy was like John Candy. Steals his cab. Goes home. Barely gets to the airport in time. And he was lucky he found out that his flight is delayed and taken off. So I figured, okay, I'm not going to miss my flight. Just barely make it. And then he's on the flight. He gets bumped from first class to coach. And he just happens to sit next to John Candy. And because he's also taking the same flight. So, and two of them just happens to be sitting next to each other on the airplane. So of course John Candy is fast. John Candy and Steve Martin is really skinny. So he's like this, and you're in the seat, because as we all know, the seats on coach are real extremely small. And if you sit next to a great big fat guy, which John Candy was, it makes some great physical comedy. And of course, what happens with this flight, the flight gets diverted to Wichita, Kansas, because of a snowstorm in Chicago. So now it could land in Chicago. So now they have to wait to see if they get another flight, and they're waiting like 2 days, like a day and a half. They couldn't get a flight out. So they decided to take a train, and there was a screw up with the train. There was got derailed. A train broke. The locomotive of the train breaks down. So now they decided to take a bus, and the bus breaks down, and they couldn't get through. It's like one kind of crazy circumstance after another, and Steve Martin is frantically trying to get home. And meanwhile, he's stuck with John Candy, and for some reason, John Candy took a liking to Steve Martin, and so he's trying to help him get home to his family, since John Candy's character doesn't have a family, and he moves from town to town. He doesn't really have a home. Really, because he's a salesman. All he sells is like rings that you can hook up your shower curtain on. That's what he sells. He's like a shower ring salesman. And he says, okay, I'm going to try to help you out. So they room together, and there is like the most iconic scene in the movie where the two of them share the same bed in the hotel room. And during the night, John Candy is like groping Steve Martin in an inappropriate area, which I'm not going to say what. Well, leave it to your imagination for that deal. And several times they break up, get back together again. to go to the next step, and they get on a bus. They go, like I said in the movie, you got trains, planes, and automobiles, but they left out buses in this movie. So they decided to rent out this car in the airport, and they Steve Martin did, and it was a screw up with the rental car service. So they decided, John Candy ended up getting a car. So Steve Martin ends up traveling, still stuck with John Candy, traveling to home. So okay, we'll go so driving to Chicago, and there was a crazy thing that the car gets messed up. I'm not gonna say how, and they ended up getting on a truck, hitchhiking on a truck, and the truck took them all the way to from St. Louis to Chicago. And long story short, they finally make it, and they get in there, and they separate, and they notice that John Candy, he had a wife. His wife died like 6 years ago, so he has no wife, he has no kids, he has no family, no one really to spend the holiday weekend with. So Seymour invites him home with him. Because they end up with this, but at first they like each other. And Seymour always craps on John Candy, of all the crazy stuff that John Candy was doing in this movie that pisses off Steve Martin. And so, but then by the end of this movie, they form a bond, a lackey to him, and invites him home to stay with him for a while until he gets a permanent place to live and stuff. And that's pretty much how the movie ends. The ending, I kind of like the ending, but in between time, it was really, even though this movie, I don't think the movie is really all that very long. It's about less than 2 hours, so it's not a very, very long movie, but it feels longer than it is, and because I feel that a lot of the humor, I feel like that's forced on the viewers, especially shows all the crazy stuff that gets traveling during the holidays, so just before Thanksgiving, really, all the crazy stuff to get where you're going, and all the crazy stuff that happens, and they're trying to put that in the movie, and like we don't know that already, but that's what they're trying to do in this movie, and I feel like the humor was a little bit forced. In my opinion, the first time I ever seen this movie, I always avoid it, make sure all the time on Thanksgiving, some cable channel like AMC or something always shows this movie around Thanksgiving, because it's about trying to get home for Thanksgiving. But the other movie that's about Thanksgiving weekend, which they really don't show, is Scent of a Woman, because that was more of a downer. And Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a comedy, so trying to lift people's spirits with the comedy. But either way, I think the comedy in this movie, I think it's a bit forced. I like both Steve Martin and John Candy. I like both of them as comedic actors, but I feel like that this movie the comedy was a bit forced, in my opinion. So that's my review of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at RallyC.com. That's all WDY. And that's C.com is the homepage of Rally Reviewer, Christy Moore. And please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.